Hello, hello, beautiful. This is Okiba Anahatara. I'm here today. I'm gonna give you a 2-for-1. Put a little Mama Monday in there as well as some Wild Wednesday while I have my morning breakfast. Mm. This is one of the recipes. This is my chocolate cherry or chocolate berry smoothie that I have really every morning. I have it a part of the detox flush and fast recipe. It's attached in there. It's one of those recipes. It includes berries, cherries. You can put any of those in there, a certain proportion. Watch your portions. I also put greens in there, and I put some raw cacao and raw chocolate, a quarter of a banana, and some almond drink, and a few other little things. Sometimes I'll use some freshly juiced carrot juice and a number of other things like that, but mainly the greens and the berries. That's the key point of having that every single morning, part of that cleansing on a daily basis. I also put some nut butter in there, or I'll use some protein to put in there as a part of my protein drink. I make it a morning meal. It's a morning meal for me. So anyway, it's been a part of what I do on a regular basis. Check out that video if you haven't already. It's Detox Flush and Fast, and the attachment is in the links for that video. It tells you about the whole plan, as well as it has some recipes in the back that will be useful to you. But anyway, how are you doing? How are you doing? I hope that you are well. I hope that you are smiling. I hope that you are using your one thing to find a little bit of happiness every day, as I've spoken about before. I hope that you are spending that time, that 11:11 time, to do some light work, to do some prayer, to do some energy work, sending it out first with yourself, your loved ones, and then to the world that we live in, to spread light, to spread love. I hope that you are doing those things. It's late. It's late in the morning. I'm having my breakfast. I didn't mention something else I wanted to say. Um, it's already a little after 11 o'clock. I'm having this morning breakfast. We have a little break in here in our morning routine, and usually I don't eat breakfast until about 10 or 11ish. That's a part of what I do. I also do intermittent fasting. I didn't mention that so much in that video, but that has become a part of my daily practice, where I typically don't eat breakfast until around 10:30, 11:30, sometime in between there. And I usually have my last meal on most days at about, the last thing I'll put in my mouth. It's not usually my meal, but last thing I'll put in my mouth will be around 6:30 or so. So I use intermittent fasting as one of those techniques that's been very helpful for me to train my stomach and to lessen the amount of food I take. And I drink green tea all during that early part of the morning as we're getting our lessons going and everything. I start out with my water, as I've told you guys before, drinking water as first thing on my stomach, and then I drink my green tea, and that sustains me. Green tea will curb your appetite. It also gives you a little bit of a kick with some of the caffeine in there, and that's a help and a benefit to keep you going. Anyway, so that's another helpful tip. And remember, I'm always going to share with you tips like that, because I think our food is health and is healing for us, and it can be. As I'm learning more and more, the less food you put in your body, the more efficient your body becomes in utilizing what is there. And if you put high quality food in your body, you don't need great quantities of it. You just need good quality food in small portions, and your body will do the rest. It will do the healing it needs. It will give you the energy that it needs, and everything else will start to take care of itself. You'll see that. It's beautiful. There's a brother who's a breatharian. Absolutely beautiful. You got to check his brother's video out. I'm just sending a shout out to it, because I've also learned some other things with regards to that. That's something I recently came across. So anyway, in this video, I want to talk about using this time. There's a saying, though. The Muslims have this saying. It's one of my favorite sayings that they say, which is that man plans a plan, but God is the best of planners. Right? Let me say that again. Man plans a plan, but God is the best of planners. And what do I mean by that in all of this? What brought me to this and thinking about this, I thought about you know, Fauci, right? Fauci, I thought about him, and a post came up on my phone and said, "Oh, look for a new strand coming of the V, you know what I mean? Coming up of that real soon." I'm like, and how do you know? How is it you constantly preparing people? Oh, look for people saying this years ago. Oh, look for this thing that's gonna happen. This virus that's gonna happen up in here. How you know? Well, they know because they put the stuff out there, right? They know about these things because they are part of creating it. Okay, that's just my thought on it. That's just my thought on it. You can think whatever you want to think about it, but that's my thought on it. So, yeah, people orchestrate these things. I do believe that this was a type of plan, a plan that was put in place. But even a plan that's done for evil or wicked purposes can be used for good. And I believe that God, the Most High, will use all things for good and for that have been meant for evil, right? Man plans a plan, but God is the best of planners. So, with that in mind, utilize this forced time out, as I've heard it stated, and I like that phrasing of it. It's a forced time out, forcing you to take time off from your normal routine, forcing you to take time away from what you normally do, how you normally eat, how you normally practice, from depending on structures that are in place, and start to evaluate them and evaluate how much you really need them. Evaluate what's going on. Time to restructure what's happening in your family, what's happening in your life. Restructure some of the things that you're doing. Restructure even your thoughts about your future. Restructure these things, and your health. For a lot of people, some people in this time period, unfortunately, they've gotten sicker, they've overeaten, they've been overeating and not being healthy. But some people have used this time as a time to get back into their studies, to get into their spiritual work, to take care of their bodies, to learn how to use nature around them and use what they have in their midst to become better and healthier, so when they come out back into the world, they're going to come back shining bright. And that's what I want you to encourage you to do on a personal level, and that's what I'm continuing to encourage you to do with these videos that I'm showing you. In addition to that, for our Mama Monday videos, what I'm encouraging you to do today, what I'm speaking about for that, is taking this time to re-educate yourself, right? As you're working with your children and you're working with them, if you have to, if they're on remote learning, if they still haven't returned back to the schools, or if you've just decided that, you know what, we can do this at home. We're good. We can do this at home, right? If you have made that decision and you're put in that situation, try not to do it begrudgingly. Do it with joy, and find the ways that it can also benefit you, not just your child. This can be a time for you to re-educate yourself, to look at the things that maybe you didn't learn well when you were in grade school, when you were in, all of those, well, grade school, basically. Taking the time to learn those things that you didn't learn and didn't learn fully. I was thinking about the U.S. territories. We're going to be studying the Caribbean and Central America, and I put in there the U.S. territories because that wasn't a part of. I look at the curriculum that's set for the state, but I also have my own curriculum that I want my children to learn, and things that are dealing with what it is that they have already stated that they're interested in doing, as well as what I see that they have talent, skill, and ability in. And so that's how we tailor the education here at our home. And so one of those things tying in with the curriculum, as we're studying that area, let's learn about the U.S. territories. Well, I didn't know about all of the U.S. territories myself, Northern Mariana Islands and Guam. I didn't know as much about that. I know, of course, about the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, but there's much more information there. And so as I'm studying with my son, as I'm preparing lessons for him, I'm learning on my own, and it's joy. I love learning, right? So I get a joy when I learn new things, and so I try to bring that joy to him in learning those things and sharing things. And this is a great time to do it because we have access to the technology. You can watch videos, you can have other people present videos. If you're not clear or comfortable about topics and subjects, you can find resources, teacher paid teachers. You have all of these different resources that you can use that in order to work with your children if you're not working directly with the school system, right? So this is a great time for you to re-educate. And it made me think about this as well when I thought about mathematics. And normally when I think about math, like when I taught my students math, a lot of times, we dealt with problem solving, and we also dealt with showing, or at least I wanted to show them some of the ways in which this is used in real life. And that was usually what was stressed from the department heads and such. In order to negate those questions that students will have, is like, why do I need to learn this? Why do I learn about factors and prime numbers? Why is this even necessary, right? Up and beyond the technical reasons or the career bound reasons as to why these things are used, there's another very, very good reason when I'm talking about mathematics here in particular. One of the reasons why we learn mathematics in school, in grade school, is to learn how to think and process logically, right? We learn mathematics in order to be able to show proofs, show and prove the things that we're saying are correct, if they are correct, and to show and prove the things that we disagree are incorrect. My son and I, we were working on factors and primes and composites and all of that stuff some time ago. And it's not enough if I say 72, right? Is 6 a factor of 72? Well, he knows in the way I teach, he knows he can't just say, well, yes or no. Okay, if it's yes, why is it yes? Explain. If it's no, why is it no? Explain. Give me the proof of it. When students get into their higher forms of math, they do what's called proofs, right, in trig and in higher forms of math. But they start doing proofs very early in life. Even your child in kindergarten and first grading who's doing 2 plus 3 equals 5. Oh, well, how do you know 2 plus 3 equals 5? Oh, well, I have 2 Cheerios right here, and I have 3 more Cheerios, and we put them together, it gives me 5. That's proof. That's teaching them logical thinking. That's teaching them how to show and prove what it is that they're saying. And that is the logic and critical thinking that parents and teachers always complain about. Where do kids learn it? When are they going to learn it? They're not learning how to logically think. Well, yeah, they are. When they take mathematics in school, they're learning how to think critically if it's presented in that way. It's not just simply an answer, but explain it. Explain the answer you get, right? Some of the math curriculum has been trying to do that and push that forward. It's gotten a lot of backlash on it, but that's a good element for students to have to explain the answers that they get, right? And this is especially good and beneficial for those children who are not math inclined. Like, you have some children who are very artsy based and all of that. They go with music and movement and dance and all of that. And then you have some children who are very mathematically oriented and logical, and math comes easy to them because they think in that way. My son is more of an artsy type. He's great at cooking. He's into music. He's learning to play the trumpet and and all of that. But he some of the math, even though he'll get some of the math, he doesn't always know how to explain it. So we need to learn how to explain it, and that's part of the processing. That's part of learning both communication and how things are logically based. So anyway, just taking long on this one, but I just wanted to speak about this from a perspective of using this time as a time to re-educate yourself, to also educate your children, and to have fun learning with them. And everything doesn't have to be a big old experiment that you do in the house, although those are great, right? It's great to do those from time to time, but sometimes it's just hunkering down and having good discussion with your children, teaching them how to think and process. And mathematics and their school curriculum is a good way to do that. It's a great way to relate to your children, and it's something that this time out has given many of us parents an opportunity to do, to see what your children are learning, to teach them things that you value, as important for their lives moving forward, and to take their education in different space, so that those teachers not just babysitting but really setting our children on a pathway for their success, and that's in alignment with what they're going to do in life, right? So that's it. Man plans the plan, but God is the best of planners. Use this time as plan time to get a lot of positive things done in your house, developing yourself, developing your children and your family and your home. That's it. I am going to speak more about this plan and planning and doing things for yourself. But today I want to hit on the parents, on mothers, mothers and fathers really, and those working with children, in some ways that we can appreciate doing some of this homeschooling and the benefits of it for not just your children but for you as well. All right, that's it for now. If you know someone who may like to see this, give it a thumbs up and share it, send it along. And until next time, be beautiful inside and out. Peace.